Hello everyone, it's Mr. Stanley and I'm here today to continue on talking about and showing you how to do something called partial products. And sometimes we call that array splitting, where we're splitting up a much larger array into some smaller arrays or some smaller equations that we can use to solve a big problem, kind of like the one that's first. So here is our 14 times 10. So our factors are 14 and 10. And once again, if we had a variable here, it would be a letter, but we are dealing with products. So remember that products are answers to our multiplication problem. Now, you could think about efficiency here, and if you wanted to, you could count by tens 14 times. So you could go 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on until you got to the answer, which would get you the right answer. But there is a much easier way to think about 14 times 10. And one easy way to think about 14 times 10 is you could think of it into splitting it up into much smaller arrays to get what you need. So what I would think is I would like to split up my array into something that I know that most students know, and that is taking a look at our value of the tens place. In this case, there are 1 in the tens place, so we have a 10 and a 10. So we're going to multiply those first. And if you're thinking about those two, I could be thinking of this as a very large array of a 10 by 10. So I have 10 and 10, and I know in the middle I have 100. So that could be an array of 100. But then I have the rest of these numbers to deal with. And the rest of these numbers would be, I would have a 4 to deal with as well. So I'm dealing with my 4, but I only have 10 as my product. So in this case, I would be adding some more to that. And I could be adding my 4 times 10 as well, because I'm splitting up the tens from the 14. So I took my 14 and I split it up into a 10 times 10 and a 4 times 10, which I'm going to add down here. And if I added that down there, I have 4 on this side, and I have 10 going across, obviously, and that's going to be 40 as my answer. So now I have the answer to my 10 times 10 array, which is 100. And then I'm going to add 40, which is my middle array, and that would be 140 as an answer to show work. There is something called the tens trick, and the tens trick I like as well, where I take the 14 times 10, and then I just basically take the number 14 and I move it over, and then I take my 0 and I move it over because I've multiplied a number in a tens value place, and it kind of bumps the other place value up to get that. That is another way that I've seen done before as kind of a trick. But really what you're doing when you're multiplying 10 times 14 times 10, is you can take a 10 times 10 and split it up into two different groups of 10 times 10 and 4 times 10. If you take a look at this next one, you'll notice that it's kind of similar. We could take the this first multiplication equation of a 10 times 4, and then we can multiply that by 4 times 4, or I'm sorry, add a 4 times 4, and in which that array would look something like this. You have your tens here and a 4 here, and then you can add your 4 by 4 down here, a little square, and that's going to give you a 40 and a 16. And if you add 40 coming from that equation here, and then a 16 coming from your double 14 here, you end up with a total of 56. And that's how to do it that way. let's take a look at one more before I have you practice some on your own. And that is this doozy right here of this 14 by 14. And one way to think about this is I could split this up to even some farther products that might help me get my answer here. And there are obviously many different ways to think about it, but I'm going to take that 10 first. So this is very unusual to see us with these double times doubles, but they are definitely challenging. So I like to take my tens first, and I like to get that array taken care of first. So let's do our 10 times 10. And we're going to add some more equations to that, but I like my big 10 times 10 square here. So here's my 10 times 10 square, and we know that that's 100. And then I'm going to add my next to it, which is my 4 times 4 right here. Or 4 times 10, I'm sorry. And my 4 times 10, which we said was a 40. So I'm going to add my 4 times 10 here. And then I'm also going to add another 4 times 10 here, which is 40. And then a 4 times 4 down here to complete my array, which is a 16. So I've added 4 times 10 plus 4 times 10 plus 4 times 4. And in this case, I've taken those two up, and I've noticed once I add them all together, I have 100 plus my two 40s, which is an 80, and then I'm going to add 16, which in this case is the whole equation here. I have 100 plus 80, which is 180, and then I add the 16 with it. Then I get 196 as my total. So today your assignment is to take a different number. So instead of starting with 14 times, today we're going to try some 16 times, like we did the last session when we did 4s and 6s, but now we're going to do 14s and 16s. So give those a try, and try splitting up your arrays like I did to help you solve a much larger problem of 14 times 14.